In the workshops in week 1, we talked about how we might set up a study to do a kind of taste test for Nutella and Vegemite, and the purpose was just to think through all the practical aspects in trying to set up a study and how we would approach people, what we would say, questions we would ask, and also to think about the data collection. How would we organise our data collection sheet? What would all our variables be, and how we would record this information. So what I've done is just mock up a data collection sheet. The workshops were fun. We didn't go as far as I thought we would, and although we did a demonstration of how we might collect the data, we didn't actually go out and collect any real data. So every question or thing that we're interested in people is a variable, and we need to have a separate row for each variable. So what we noticed with trying to do something on a couple of questions like Nutella and Vegemite is that for every question we would have to have a separate column for each Vegemite and Nutella, because we can't record it in the same one. So, do you like Nutella? Have you tried it before? Would you recommend it? And then we have to repeat all of those for Vegemite. And whenever we're collecting data, we do need to separate each single question and variable into a separate column. If you try to cram stuff together into the same column, you will find it impossible to analyse. So I've gone through and created some data here, and you'll notice that it's all very consistent. I've got Y's and N's. I don't have any yeses in there to mess it up, or yeses with a little y, things like this, because the computer will read all of these as being different. So I'll go back and fix all of them up. So we need to be consistent. The other thing we can do, of course, is add codes. We could have used 1 for yes and 2 for no, and then we would put that code in later, and we'll probably do that in a later exercise. When we were doing it in class, we got people to describe what they thought, and so there were a whole lot of descriptive words that came out, and I haven't copied these across. It's certainly something you could use. It's a little bit more challenging if you're going to go through and code up descriptors for a quantitative analysis. So in this case, we're just going to stick to some of the basic information. I've included a column called Time in Australia, and this is something that happens a lot on surveys. If you ask a question like time and you don't specify what type of answer you're interested in, you can get all different answers. So you might get days, hours, months, depending on how long people have been here, because of course we tend to round off. So this would be something where you'd probably have to come back later and decide, are you going to convert everyone into days or months? Are you going to have some kind of cutoff or categories, like you've been here less than a week, more than a month, that type of thing? And that might be something that you come back and do at the end once you see the range of responses you get. So you can do some charting straight in Excel, and we'll have a look at how to do that next week. The thing to remember with Excel is that it's really good at summary data, but it's not very good at raw data. Now this is all raw data, it has not been summarized yet. You can do charts with Excel, it takes a little bit longer, and I'll show you how to do that next week. The other thing that I would like you to do, if possible, is just take a look at how this works in SPSS to get you used to the setup. So I'm at 3 minutes, so what I might do is just quickly do a demonstration graph here, and then I'll stop this video and do another one looking at this in SPSS. So if I did want to do a chart, I'd come over into the insert. It hasn't been summarized yet, so I have to use a pivot chart. And I've already selected my range, so I'll just press OK. So that first part is usually quite easy, and it's the next bit that trips people up with Excel, because you've just got to do a little bit of messing around, and I'll take you through the steps involved next week. So we can see just from this sort of fake data that we've got most people from India and Nepal, and a few people from other countries in our classes.